He never imagined that a simple afternoon stroll past the precinct would turn his world upside down. The sun was dipping low beyond the city skyline, casting long shadows on the pavement as he walked, hands tucked casually in the pockets of his worn leather jacket. His mind was on the groceries he needed to pick up and the meeting he had scheduled for tomorrow. That's when he saw her, his daughter, her wrists red where the steel cuffs bit into her skin. She stood between two uniformed officers, her head bowed slightly, shoulders trembling. Time froze in that instant, and all the noise of the world faded away. His heart hammered against his ribs as he broke into a sprint. "Anna!" he shouted, voice cracking like thunder in the quiet street. The officers turned, startled. Anna looked up, eyes wide with horror and relief in equal measure. Her dark curls framed a face pale as porcelain, tears streaking through smudged mascara. He reached her side in 3 quick strides, yanked at the handcuffs, and demanded, "What in God's name is going on here?" The taller officer cleared his throat, glancing at his partner before shifting his weight. "Sir, please step back. We have a warrant." "A warrant?" He echoed, disbelief and rage colliding inside him. "For what? You can't be serious." He whirled to Anna. "Baby, tell me you're okay. Tell me you didn't do anything." She shook her head, lips trembling. "Dad, it's not what it looks like." He stared at her, fury boiling under his skin, but his concern for her safety overrode everything. "Then tell me what happened, right now." The officers exchanged glances. The shorter one produced a folded sheet of paper from his uniform. "Miss Anna Riley, you're under arrest on suspicion of embezzlement and identity fraud. You have the right to remain silent." The words hit him like a punch to the gut. Anna, his bright, kind-hearted girl who used to sketch flowers in the margins of her school notebooks, accused of stealing from the company where she'd interned? He looked at her, searching for any sign that this was a mistake. "Anna," he whispered, voice barely audible. "What did you do?" Her shoulders sagged. I needed the money, Dad. I never meant to get caught." She ducked her head. Avoiding his gaze, his world spun. The sleek brownstones lining the street, the distant roar of traffic, even the faint smell of roasting coffee from the cafe next door, all seemed unreal. He knelt before her, gently lifting her chin so her eyes met his. "How much?" he asked softly. Tears sprang to Anna's eyes. $20,000, she admitted. "It's stupid, I know. I was ashamed to ask you for help. I thought I could fix things before anyone noticed." He closed his eyes, pain radiating through him. "Why didn't you come to me?" She bit her lip, voice trembling. "Because I ruined your life once already." His breath caught. He remembered the long nights after his wife died, the nights Anna cried herself to sleep because she blamed herself. How he'd promised her he would always be there. "You can never ruin my life," he whispered. "Not ever." The taller officer stepped forward. "Sir, you need to let us proceed." He stood, towering over the officers, despite the tremor in his knees. "Am I under arrest too?" he demanded. They shook their heads. "Not right now, but interfering with an arrest is a crime." He swallowed hard, forced his hands out of his pockets. "Fine." He stepped back, but his eyes never left Anna's. She was shaking, tears streaming freely. He brushed a loose curl from her face. "I'll bail you out," he promised. Shook her head. "I can't let you." He placed his hand over hers, the metal cuffs cold between their palms. "We're going through this together." That night, in the cramped holding cell, he sat beside her on the hard bench. She hadn't eaten, barely slept. Every so often she'd press her head against the wall and sob quietly. He held her, humming her favorite lullaby from when she was little. The guard looked away, wary of privacy laws, but didn't stop him. Dawn broke. He walked to the judge's chambers, documents in hand. He'd scraped together everything: his savings, loans from friends, even the equity in his small house. The bail was set high $50,000, but he'd do whatever it took. Outside the courthouse, reporters crowded the steps, flashbulbs popping. He spotted them before they saw him, their microphones thrust forward. "Mr. Riley, your daughter stands accused." He raised a hand, voice steady. "She's innocent." Then he strode past them without another word and entered the building. Inside, the courtroom buzzed. Anna sat at the defendant's table, head bowed. As he approached, she looked up, eyes red but bright with hope. He slid into the seat beside her, signaled his attorney, and nodded. Soon the bail was posted, the cuffs removed, and Anna was free to leave. But the trial was just beginning. Over the next weeks, he became both father and detective. He pored over Anna's laptop, combed through bank records, tracked transactions, and interviewed former colleagues. He discovered anomalies in the companies, accounting software clues that someone more senior had covered their tracks. The more he dug, the more he realized Anna had been set up. Late nights became his routine, meeting whistleblowers in dimly lit diners, exchanging envelopes with informants, in parking garages. He watched Anna attend therapy sessions. Guilt and shame weighed heavily on her, and he sat in the waiting room, offering gentle encouragement. He arranged for her to meet a pro bono attorney skilled in white-collar defense. He took on extra shifts at the warehouse to afford her legal fees, even though exhaustion pressed down on him like a lead weight. Outside the courtroom on the morning of the first hearing, a single flower shop sprouted on the sidewalk. He bought a bouquet of daisies, Anna's favorite, and tucked them into his jacket pocket. When she emerged, looking frail but determined, he handed them to her. She managed a small smile. Inside the courtroom, the prosecution laid out its case. Records of unauthorized transfers from the payroll account to Anna's bank. Each slide meant to implicate her. But her defense attorney countered with forensic analyses showing the digital signatures were forged, traced back to the CFO's login credentials. Witnesses stepped forward. An IT specialist who'd noticed unusual access times, a secretary who'd heard the CFO on a late-night call, arranging the scheme. He watched Anna's face as the evidence unfolded. She sat tall, shoulders squared, every so often exchanging glances with him until their eyes met and he offered a reassuring nod. The final witness was the whistleblower from the accounting department, a timid woman who trembled on the stand but, prompted by Anna's attorney, told the truth about the months of embezzlement orchestrated by the CFO. When the judge cleared the courtroom, he felt Anna's hand find his. "Thank you," she whispered. He pressed his lips to her forehead. "I'll always have your back." Weeks later, the verdict came in. Not guilty on all counts. Relief flooded through the packed gallery as the judge pronounced Anna free to go. She burst into tears, and he stood and hugged her fiercely. Back at home, the world resumed its colors. Anna returned to college on scholarship. Her reputation restored, she threw herself into her studies with renewed determination. He watched her grow stronger each day, their bond deepened by the ordeal. One evening, as they sat on the front porch with cold lemonade, Anna turned to him. "Dad, can I ask you something?" He smiled. "Anything. Why did you fight so hard for me?" He looked out at the quiet street, lanterns flickering in the twilight. "Because you're my daughter. And no matter what, I will never stop believing in you." She leaned her head against his shoulder, and he wrapped an arm around her. The night stretched before them, serene and promised. And in that moment, he knew that no force on earth could break what they had rebuilt together.